Hello. I'd like to talk to you today about dandelions. Now, dandelions are just weeds actually, but they have a beautiful flower to them. And this is a dandelion. I know you've all seen dandelions. They grow in the woods. They will actually grow right in your grass if you don't treat your grass, keep weeds out of it. I have a section of my yard that's actually like a woodlands, and so they grow back there, but my husband tries really hard to not have them grow in the lawn that he cuts and edges and takes real good care of. So I want to tell you about this dandelion and the way they pop up every spring and what makes that happen. Well, last spring, you probably walked around, and actually right now, not just last spring, you probably have seen this sort of stalk in your yard, and it's like a perfect white puffball. See all the perfectly white pieces of fluff that grow up on top of this long stem? And actually, this was like this at one point. It started out like this, and then it became this. And these little white puffy things are separate actually. And I think you can see this. Let's see. Can you see the white fluffy part? Yeah, you can see it right there against my chin almost, or by my neck. And then do you see the little brown part, like the brown part over here? And there's another brown one there. That's the actual seed of the dandelion. So for every dandelion that you see like this, it will eventually look like this, circle all the way around, and that's how many seeds there are in the dandelion. And so after this white puffball is made, then the next time the wind blows, or a child goes and picks that and blows on them, these little seeds separately fly around. I want to separate these so you can see what happens. And they're like a little parachute. They don't just go right down to the ground, but it's like a little parachute, and they go. You're not going to be able to see this very well, but just in case you can. Do you see it go past my head? Here, I'll show you another one. You'll be able to see it go past my hair. Yep, you see that little white spot go past my hair? Yep, that's the dandelion seed. And you can imagine if the wind is blowing, instead of coming straight down, it might go sideways. Let me see, I'm going to put a couple here on my knee so I can show you. So, oh, see them on my knee? I'm going to separate them all out so maybe you can see them fly. So either when the wind blows, or a child like you, or even a grown-up, goes and picks up that white puffball flower, and then they blow on it, let's see what will happen to these. Do you see how they all flew away? And some of them went this way, and some of them went that way, some of them went that way, and some of them went straight down. So wherever they land, that's where a new dandelion plant will pop up next year. Because what happens is the seed lands on the ground, and the ground might be soft, or maybe it's hard. So if it's hard, we'll have to wait till it rains next time. And next time it rains, the ground will soften up a little bit, and then somebody might walk along and step down on it. But however it happens, the seed works its way into the ground. And then the next time it rains, it feeds that seed. And that little brown seed coat actually opens up. Look, here are some seeds on my pants again. There they go. So that seed coat opens up, and the roots go down further into the soil, and the leaves come up out of the ground, and a tall, skinny stalk grows up the center of it. So I want to tell you about those leaves. Look at this leaf. Look at how sharp these edges look. Now it's not sharp at all. It's just like a piece of grass. But they look like they're very sharp. Well, in France, they actually called the dandelions Dandelion, which means teeth of the lion, because of their leaves that look like lion's teeth. So here's a big one, and I have another little smaller one here, but you can see it's just as sharp and jagged looking. So when they grow up out of the ground, those leaves push their way up one edge, and then the other edge, and then up it again, and then maybe this sharp comes out here, and this one comes out here sharp, and then maybe another elbow goes up. So not really an elbow, because they don't have elbows, do they? But and then the stalk grows up big. And if it begins, when it first opens up, it looks a little bit like this. And see how it's not quite opened up all the way because you can still see the underneath side of most of the petals, right? But after the sun shines, and it just enjoys the sunshine so much, it begins to look like this. And see how all those petals have opened up all the way around? You don't see the bottom of them anymore, you see the top of them. And when it gets a little bit too much sun, well, before I get to that spot, I should tell you this. So when the sun shines on it, this dandelion reaches up as far as it can for the sunshine, as far as its stem will allow it. And then it faces the sunshine and it goes, oh, this feels so good. And then they turn this side around and says, oh, I gotta get some sun back here. And then maybe some sun over here. So they get all the sun that they can take. And then what starts to happen is they start to dry out a little bit. Can you see how kind of dried out this is getting? And then if it lasts a little bit longer, it will look like this, because it just gets too much sun and it kind of closes up all around itself. And eventually, it will look like this. See, you can see the yellow still inside, but look at how all the petals have closed themselves up. And eventually, that turns itself into this. And now look, that yellow has gotten all white. And see, the green is closed up all around it. And this is where some magic happens, because this is where all those white fluffy parts are attaching themselves to all those seeds in there, and it eventually turns into this. Oh, and it makes it, oh, this is an extra seed sitting on top. It makes a perfectly round circle. And this is filled in all the way around, like there's a perfect ball sitting on top. And then when the wind blows, or maybe a child picks it, or maybe a grown-up picks it, and they blow on it, can you see some flying around? How about now? I'm going to turn this a little bit this way because that seems to be the way I keep blowing them. Can you see it? See them floating? I don't know whether you can see any of them or not. But here they are. And see, they've all come off. Now there's hardly anything left on that white seed ball. But here are the rest of those seeds that are left. Can you see them? The brown seeds and the white fluffy part. See the white fluffy part? Yeah. And it will just come down one at a time. See that one? And this one might land over here. See how that one went that way? How about if I make one land over here? Let's see if I can try that. Put it over here. So it landed over here. So they blow in the air as far as the wind can carry them, and then they settle down on the ground. And wherever they settle on the ground, next spring, there will be a dandelion plant. And that's the life cycle of a dandelion. Now, on my recording, I have something called the dandelion. And you also have this on your recording. And if you've just listened to it without knowing the story, you're probably wondering, what is this about? So we're going to listen to it together here. It starts off with a white puffball. And you'll hear the wind start blowing. The wind blows it off, and then all those seeds are floating through the air, and they find somewhere to land. Okay, so let's listen to this. Seeds are floating all around. Getting burrowed further into the ground, further down, further down. Here comes the rain. Did you hear the rain? Little by little, that stem starts to grow up and the leaves start to grow up. Here it comes. And then this beautiful stem comes up, goes as tall as it can, and it opens up for the sun. Oh. reaches up again this way. Oh, boy, is that nice. Oh, let's turn this way. Oh, it feels so good. Oh. Reach it up again. Oh, this way. Until one day they just get too much sun. Oh. The magic is happening. All those seeds are attaching themselves to white parachutes. And a perfect ball all around you. Here comes the wind. And they fly as far as the wind will take them. Did you hear all those parts? So, I'm going to stop the recording now, and when I come back, we're going to become the dandelion seed with our whole body. So you can float through whatever space you have, and then pick some place to land and lay down on the floor until that rain comes, and stay there and burrow deeper into the floor, and then when you hear the leaves popping out, start pushing your elbows out and your hands out, and then that long stem, and then you'll hear the sun come out, ah. And you'll hear when it gets too much sun, oh. And then you'll hear the seeds catching onto a parachute. Okay, so act it out with me. I think there'll be some times when I step out of the range of the video, so you might not see me, but that's okay. You can keep moving, okay? Alrighty, let me get my recording moved over.